Hi, it's Kim McGrath from Expressions of the Universe with your March 2025 stars and cards. And wow, so much energy coming out. What I have for you for this month, not only do I have such an extensive card reading for all zodiac signs, but also advice on how to nurture your moon sign. And I think that's going to be really important, especially with how intense the energy on the planet is and will continue to be. It will be really important for all of us to nurture ourselves. And the best way to do that is to follow the advice of your own moon. So make sure you look up how to find your moon sign. You can do that online. I also have a tutorial on how to pull your own chart. Or you can always order a reading and chart from me. What else do I have? We have new moon, full moon. We have the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere, which is so important because that is the beginning of the astrological new year. That happens when the sun moves into Aries at 0 degrees, and we go from winter to spring in the northern hemisphere. Now, of course, in the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. They are going from summer into autumn, and this really just covers that. I mean, if you are in the southern hemisphere, you will gain something from this, but my main focus is on northern hemisphere. The energy and the events that are coming up in the planets are so overwhelming. I started preparing for this probably a month ago, and I didn't record until now because I was so overwhelmed with how much information was coming in and how many of the planetary changes were happening. So I wanted to make sure that I was in a good place before I started to record. I actually pre-recorded the card reading at a separate time so that I could be really grounded and give a good reading. I'm using 3 decks. And like I said, giving advice for your moon sign as well. And I think that portion of the video is almost an hour and a half long. So divide that between the 12 signs. It's probably one of the more extensive cards for all zodiac signs that I've done in a while. And I would like to continue doing something like that. As always, everything in this will be time stamped for your convenience so that you can just go to whatever spot you want to go to. You look at the timestamps down at the bottom of the YouTube video and you can jump ahead. You can go back, watch this in bits and pieces because it will be a lot. I won't be able to cover every single thing that I want to say about the month of March because there's just so much. So what I was thinking is that I'm going to try and do world events videos so that I can break down some of the things that I see happening in the astrology, especially what's upcoming. The next big advancement will be Neptune entering Aries for the first time in 165 years. So that will be a really big event, especially because Saturn will join Neptune in Aries come May. So we have a few months for that. All right, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. And that's not the screen that I wanted to share. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So we have our March 2025. I'm losing my voice already, probably because I've been just having so many conversations about so many things lately. Excuse me. The weather's changing, which is making me runny in the nose, a little congested. So, of course, we have my disclaimer that the content in this presentation is for entertainment, enjoyment, and folly. This program is for informational purposes only. And if you require medical, professional, psychological advice, please consult a licensed professional. Just want you to know, my daughter fancied up my PowerPoint presentation, and you'll have to let me know what you think. I think she did a really great job. All right, so here are the highlights. Now, I am starting with, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Sorry about that. It's the fanciness. I am starting with February, even though this is for March, because it was important for me to bring up a couple of items happening at the end of February before we get into March, because they will greatly affect what is happening in March. So on February 18th, the sun entered Pisces, which was a little early this year. And, you know, it can run 1 or 2 days on either side. Typically, the sun will enter Pisces on the 19th, sometimes the 20th. But here we had it on the 18th. Then February 23rd, this is very important. Mars stations direct at 17 degrees Cancer. So think of Cancer. It is the sign of the home and the family and the mother. Mars is in its fall, which it's very weak in Cancer. The one thing that I was thinking about all this time, Mars has been retrograde, and I have to look at my note. I probably won't even be referencing them. Let's see, when did Mars actually go retrograde? I don't even remember anymore. I want to say was it November 1st of 2024? Okay, so Mars, okay, it was December 6th. I think Mars entered Leo November 1st of 2024. Then it retrograded back into Cancer December 6th. So from December 6th of 2024 until February 23rd, 2025. Think about how Mars is the planet of masculinity, aggression, anger, war, action, athletes, military. In its weakest sign of Cancer, retrograde. I would say that a lot of the craziness that has happened in the world over the last 2 months, not much will become of it. Now, Mars is stationing to go direct in Cancer, and then it will enter Leo in April, towards the 3rd week of April. So it's going to take a little bit of time before it even gets back into Leo. We could see some aggression and resistance then, but I feel like a lot of the craziness that has been upsetting a lot of us and stressing us out and causing us anxiety, not only in the United States, but in so many countries in the world, because we're all under the same planetary influences. A lot of that craziness, nothing will become of it because Mars is very weak in Cancer and it is retrograde. So we're going to have to see. This is a prediction that I'm making. We will see the bigger picture over the course of 2025, what really happens. Okay. Then February 27th, we have a new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees, 5 new moons at 9 degrees over the past few months, and we still have another couple coming. So that 9 degree, if you have something in your chart at 9 degrees, it will be activated. Give it 1 or 2 degrees on either side. So you can go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have anything in your charts between 7 and 11 degrees, these new moons that we're having every month at 9 degrees will be activating those. March 1st, Venus will station retrograde 10 degrees. And I didn't even write down the sign. So I'm sorry about that, but I believe it's in Pisces. Is it in Pisces? March 1st. I didn't even write, well, I have it in the charts. I think it is in Pisces. Keep in mind, Venus rules love and money. Those are the two main things. So with Venus stationing retrograde, we're going to have to do some reflection on our relationships. We're going to have to take a look at our bank accounts. If you watched my financial video that I put out on January 1st, you'll know that Venus is a big trigger in the markets, in our economies. No matter where you live in the world, it plays a very vital role. So what will this Venus stationing retrograde be doing? It could be maybe holding off the recession for a little bit, but I really feel like a recession is coming. It'll be global. And moving on, March 3rd, Mercury will enter Aries. This is a high alert because Mercury, the planet of communication, mental agility, transportation, siblings, neighborhoods, our own little pockets, elementary education, in a sense. It's entering Aries. So that's, that's a sign of action, but it's also aggression and anger. So something could be coming up. Also pay attention to news alerts that we could be hearing. Right before Mercury enters Aries, it will conjunct Neptune. You'll see that in the new moon chart. And that could be some really important news coming out. I feel like a lot of these planets that are moving into Aries are going to be eye-opening and revealing at the same time. All right, on March 14th, we have a full death moon in Virgo with a total lunar eclipse. This is also known as a crow moon, a worm moon, a sap moon. Really depends on where you grew up. I've never actually heard it be called a death moon before, and that's why I listed it. I usually go by either worm moon or sap moon. It is a total lunar eclipse at 23 degrees 57 minutes in Virgo, which Virgo rules our day-to-day life, our daily tasks, our small animals, whether they are your domestic animals or animals out in the world. It also rules our health, our overall health, body, mind, and spirit. It rules workers, service to the world, service agents. It rules crops and fields and grain and, our food sources. So that really kind of worries me, especially because in order to have an eclipse, one of the nodes needs to be near either the moon or the sun. In this case, it is the south node in Virgo, which we have 17 more months left of the south node in Virgo. So all those areas that I just mentioned, which are only a few, are going to be highly affected and changed. This really will affect our overall mental and physical, and I believe spiritual health. This Virgo moon, I will recommend that we eat extremely light, a couple days before, a couple days after, because we can expect stasis in the digestive system. And so if you already have a funky digestive system, especially if you have Virgo dominant in your chart, this could be very detrimental. So we're also going to try and keep ourselves hydrated, but we're not making new moon or full moon water or sun water during these eclipses that we're coming into, because it's ancient belief, and I've written about this quite a bit, that eclipse water is poisonous. So it's chaos energy. If you know anything about chaos magic, it's so unpredictable. You don't want to drink any water that has been standing and sitting. So I highly recommend on these eclipse days, and going, a few days before, a few days after, you want to make sure if you do have pets at home that you are refreshing their water frequently and giving them fresh water. Don't let the water sit overnight and allow them to drink it. Yeah, I have such a horrible story about that. Not that it was sitting water, but one of my most beloved animals died under a total lunar eclipse, and she just couldn't get enough to drink. And I was bringing her out these huge bowls of water. And so did that play a part? I don't know. I really don't know, but it is interesting, right? Um, a lot of cultures don't even eat or drink during the eclipse. So just be mindful of the timing of the eclipse and, try to eat very lightly. On March 15th, we have Mercury retrograde in Aries. And I knew that I took notes, but I'm not even using any of my notes. My goodness. So we're in the shadow of it. It's this Mercury retrograde. Oh, well, so much for the note taking. I know the Venus retrograde, and they're terrible. They always seem like they're really good when I'm taking the notes. And then, okay, I found it. They always seem really good. Like I think I'm doing really good note taking. And then when I go to read them back, like right now, I can't make heads or tails out of my notes. So anyway, on March 1st, too, I want to go back with that Venus retrograde. It will be a 10 Aries. So I was wrong. 10 degrees of Aries. So that is like inflationary. So we might see some relief in inflation with it moving backwards. We could also see some breakups, and it will go all the way back to 24 Pisces. And that's April 12th it takes for it to end. So from March 1st until April 12th. But things are happening behind the scenes. So we'll have to see how that plays out. On March 2nd, Mercury will conjunct Neptune. So, you know how I said right here, Mercury's entering Aries, but it will conjunct Neptune before in Pisces before it goes in. This is a mental uncertainty day. So you may not want to make decisions, especially because we're already going to be in the beams of the retrograde. There could be a lot of mental confusion and uncertainty. Then March 3rd, Mercury retrograde in Aries. Mercury enters Aries, sorry. It's aggressive, expect announcements, unfiltered feedback is what I had written down. All right, and then the Mercury retrograde. It will go back into Pisces before it stations, but this is a fire retrograde season. So all of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the highlight is on y'all. And then we come into fire season. The sun enters Aries on March 20th. It's the spring or vernal equinox. It is the world point, which is 0. Oh, I have a typo in there. World point, which is 0 degrees of Aries. It is the astrological new year and the third quarter moon in Sagittarius, which is great time for a freezer spell. Again, and you could see that you could find the freezer spells on Facebook and Instagram at Expressions of the Universe. And then March 29th, we have a new moon in Aries with a solar eclipse, 9 degrees again. And I don't think I have that chart in here. I didn't realize that we were going to be doing another new moon, but I'll pick that up in the next video because I'll be also talking about Neptune entering Aries. I feel like there's so much happening that I'm glad that I didn't even realize that we had another new moon coming in the month of March. And yeah, I don't think I have that slide. And then of course I'm doing Neptune and Aries in a totally separate video, as well as world event videos. And I'll be looking at charts for various people in the world, things that are happening, and I'll be looking at countries' charts. And I really wish that I would have recorded this earlier because I had Germany's chart, and I know they're going through their elections on February 23rd, the same day that Mars is stationing direct. And that could be a huge precursor as to the direction that the world is going in. So prayers for Germany right now that they don't fall into right-wing insanity, because we're going back to the regimes of the 1930s. Everything is so dry. I need my chapstick. All right, let's move on. Hope you're liking the presentation my daughter designed for me. All right, so here we have the new moon in Pisces on February 27th with the total lunar eclipse. Let's blow this up a little bit so that you can see it a little better. We have our sun and moon in Pisces, and here in my neck of the woods, East Coast, east to central, it will be in the 6th house. If you live in Europe, it'll be, I believe, more up in the 7th, 8th house. And if you live mountain and West Coast, you're going to be more in the 5th house. So you may want to, adjust for your space, but this is where I am reading from. And so I'm going to read it as a 6th and 7th house event. Sixth house, typically ruled by Virgo. So we're talking about our daily activity, service in the world, jobs in general. The moon represents the people. The sun represents leaders, our vital life force, the mother and the father. We have Saturn here that's putting up a little bit of a blockage to some movement in those areas. Mercury, communications with the North Node, and Neptune. We have a huge stellium here in Pisces. So, did I write anything down about that? Other than it's a good time to nurture ourselves and really nurture our moon sign during times of emotional difficulty. To see, okay, so we have Chiron in Aries, because I know Chiron up here is playing a huge part, especially in the seventh house with Venus. It's asking us to think about who we are and how we're showing up in the world. Chiron is the wounded healer. Now we have Eris, the goddess of anger. She's Mars' sister in mythology. And so for a lot of angry people out in the world, but there are a lot of people that are not saying anything and they're being very complacent, and kind of the complacency equals complicity. And so how do you want to be known in the world? Like one of the things that I wrote down is shame works. And I heard the words, have you no shame? That we should maybe be shaming people for allowing the things that are happening in the world to happen. Is this who you really are? Or is this who you really want to be? Like, we're questioning a lot of our relationships because people are showing us who they are. A lot of times we like to see the best in people and we think the best in people, and everybody's always going through a lot of different things. So you can't even measure who a person is from one thing, right? Because maybe somebody's just having a bad day. But if you are consistently getting red flags of friends and family, acquaintances, or strangers for that matter, you really have to think about these red flags. Like, who do you want to associate yourself with? All of this heavy Pisces energy lends to illusions, delusions. We're not seeing things clearly. So it's really important at this time to utilize this Pisces energy, because there's so much of it, and tap into our own intuition. If that means having to spend a lot of time in solitude or alone or in quiet or in nature so that you can tap in. Sometimes when our minds are overwhelmed, our best defense is to tap into our heart and intuition. And the only way that you can do that is by turning off all of the external noise so that we can get quiet within ourselves and hear what the song of our own hearts are saying. Now, all of these planets are going to be, and the energy is going to be heading into Aries, which is an initiatory energy. It's an action-based energy. It's also anger, aggression, military, athletes, masculine energy. Pisces energy is very soft. It's yin energy. And we could be very, very tired at this time. Pisces rules the feet. So it will be especially important to excuse me, take really good care of your feet. I recommend that you get some really beautiful lotion. I love Dionysus lotion, by the way. It's made in a town only about 10 minutes from me. It is goat's milk lotion, and I don't particularly care for this smell. The blood orange is amazing, by the way. But I like to keep this close at hand, and I rub my feet with this and my ankles and my lower legs before I go to bed every night. I really give myself a really good foot massage. Of course, you can go get pedicures, you can get reflexology, but this is something that you want to do for yourself every day. In addition, Pisces also rules the lymphatic system. And with Saturn being in Pisces, we could be getting really clogged up, especially with Mars in Cancer. There could be blockages and clogs in our lymphatic system. Of course, you want to check with your physician about how to do your own lymphatic drainage, but drinking a lot of, purified water is very good. Moving the body, that this is another reason why Aries season will be beneficial, because we're going to get up and moving. You have to move your body in order for your lymphatic system to flush out and to drain. Because the way that the planets are looking, everything's so trapped in within each other. It's the waters in our body and toxins could also be getting trapped in. So I think, is that what I wanted, all I wanted to say? Calendula tea is really good for this, especially for those that are suffering from stomach ailments, colitis, diverticulitis. Also, marshmallow tea is so wonderful for that. And cleavers is really fantastic for lymphatic drainage. So I have to remember that and get my cleavers out of the cabinet and start dropping some of that into my water. Keep my body flowing, glowing and flowing. All right. What else did I want to talk about? There's the Mars in Cancer. It had already stationed direct at this point. This new moon has a Libra ascendant, which is about balance and peace and love. Yeah, I think that's all I have to really say about this new moon in Pisces for now. I know I'm leaving things out, and I apologize, but I can't cover everything. All right, now we have a full moon with the solar eclipse on March 14th. Similar to the total lunar eclipse, except for on lunar eclipses, we have a power outage where our bodies and life force is being drained from us. On a solar eclipse, it is a power surge. And so we have it like a rush of power coming in during the eclipse. I think, I think I did. Happening while we're sleeping for most of us anyway, almost 2 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. So I think that'll be a good thing. Your sleep may be disrupted. I can't say it enough. Do not make moon water or sun water during eclipses. And I know that I have an article out there as to why you don't do that. All right, so this full moon, full moon in Virgo is at 23 degrees. This says 56 minutes. I might be off by just 1 minute. And it is in the Pisces Virgo health axis, even though 6 and 12 is health. Those are the health planets. It is up at the midheaven. So some kind of big world event I would expect happening, something from the past, South Node, something that we really need to be leaving behind. I do feel that with these eclipses and just how powerful they are, we could see and hear of some passings. You'll have to watch my world events video, and I'll pull up some charts as to who I think could be affected by this, world leaders and prominent people in the world. But some kind of big event will be happening. Now, with this moon and South Node still in the ninth house, but on the 10th house cusp, this could be something happening overseas. So that could be my prediction, as opposed to if it were on the other side of this line, I would think it would be happening here in my home country, but who knows? It is right on the cusp. The big focus down here in the third and fourth houses. So this would be communications and home, family, mother, father. For many of us, I would think, especially with Mercury stationing, we also have it's besieging Venus, but we have this area here of something big coming out in the news in the month of March. And like I said, with a lot of these planets shifting into Aries from Pisces, I feel like that foggy veil of Pisces, the illusions, the fraud, the lies, that veil will be lifted off of our eyes, and we will be able to see or know more clearly about what's happening in the world. Something's going to get leaked, something will come out that will reveal what is really happening. Mars is direct still. It's going to be in Cancer for quite some time, and it will not enter Leo until April. It's very slow moving for such a fast moving planet, but it has been retrograde for quite some time. Going to just talk about this Virgo energy with the South Node. You want to eat very lightly, few days on either side of this. This is set for March 14th, so 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Eat lightly, because especially if you do have digestive issues. I feel like over the next 17 months with this transit, especially South Node in Virgo, we're going to see a lot of people. They're either going to be developing digestive issues such as diabetes, pancreatic issues, fatty livers, or with the new drugs that are available, we'll be reversing that, like the Wegovy and the Ozempic, because that reverses that. But those drugs you have to stay on for your entire life, or that will reverse. How does that play into Pluto in Aquarius, which is innovative medicine, just to name a few? It's also responsible for all the plane crashes that we have been seeing, the uprisings and rebellions that we've been seeing. But this aspect is in an inconjunct or a quincunx. So it looks like it's trined, but I don't see how it can be trined unless it's trined out of sign. Because that would be a quincunx, meaning like there's an indifference to our physical health and the medical innovations that are available. And this could possibly be that there is a lot of physical illness on the planet, and the medical interventions that are needed are not available due to shortages and funds and different things like that. We'll have to see, especially with Venus being retrograde, Venus ruling money being retrograde. So is this funds held back, or are we rolling back inflation on, before it rolls forward full tilt? I'm not 100% sure. And I'm okay saying that I am not 100% sure. We do have Uranus getting closer to the fixed star of Algol, which is the demon head, the head of the beast. So in mythology, Perseus cut the head off of Medusa, the Gorgon, and then used her head as a weapon. That's 26 degrees of Taurus. So something's coming. This won't happen until, let's see, take a look. How long will it take for Uranus? Well, it's going to have to start speeding up because Uranus is moving into Gemini in July. So Uranus will hit 26 degrees towards the end of April. Yeah, at the very end of April. So I would expect something happening. And then, of course, Jupiter is also on its way to moving into Cancer, which it's exalted in Cancer. Hates being in Gemini, it's in its worst position. So I'm hoping for some goodness when Jupiter moves into Cancer for one full year. However, Uranus moving into Gemini for 7-8 years, not good, always a sign of war. Also, Neptune is in its final anaretic degree, getting ready to move into Aries, another sign of war. And I'll talk about that in my world events, but war appears to be imminent, especially with these eclipses that are happening. And I feel like the chaos is building. Let's see. So yeah, we have Saturn in Pisces at 22 degrees. That will enter Aries in May. But if we focus right now on Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees, getting ready to enter into Aries, that anaretic degree is about crisis and decay, crisis and destruction. Now, Saturn and Neptune together in a conjunction often always symbolizes pestilence, disease, infection, like a pandemic type thing, but they're too far apart. They will be coming together and they will be dancing very closely. So I feel like we could be hearing some stuff in the news about, like a lot of health issues coming out. And it could be with elderly people, with it being in Saturn. Also, with it being Neptune, Neptune ruling addictions a little bit along with Jupiter. Alcoholism. There could be something we hear in the news about alcoholism, or drugs, like, I don't know, the drug cartels and different things. So pay attention to that. But crisis and decay. And when does, now that I'm thinking about it, so we're at 29 degrees on this full moon. But let me look at my ephemeris. I think as I'm recording this, we're at 20, 27, 28 degrees. Neptune will hit 29 degrees. March, March 4th. So yeah, we're starting the month off really with a bang, if you think about it. So I feel like March is going to be an extremely volatile month. Um, Personally, financially, and globally. And this 29th degree, you want to take a look and see, where do you have Pisces in your life? That's where the crisis and the decay could be. So like I have Pisces in the 11th house, that's friends. Friends, humanity, social events, my dreams, hopes, and wishes as well. So hopefully my dreams, hopes, and wishes aren't in crisis and decay, or my friends for that matter. All right, let's move on. And then we have the Aries ingress chart, the vernal or spring equinox, and the astrological new year. So before, the Christians chose January 1st for tax purposes to be the new year, all calendars previous to that always look at the seasons, and the vernal equinox, when the sun moves into Aries, and they could see it up in the sky with the constellations. When the sun moves into Aries, that was the astrological new year. Well, we call it the astrological new year now, but it was the new year. So when the Christians changed the calendar for the new year to be January 1st, and taxes would be collected during that time. Interestingly enough, the sun is in Capricorn, and that is, you know, about finances and governments. It took a long time for word to get out all over the lands that the new year was changed. And so if people were celebrating the new year during the vernal equinox, they were called April Fools. That's where April Fool's Day came from. And it wasn't because they were stupid, they were ill-informed. They hadn't gotten the message that the calendar changed. And there are a lot of people that still celebrate the new year on the astrological new year. This is the time of new beginnings. It is the time of initiation. It is the time of action. Think about it. When the sun is in the winter signs, when we have winter in the northern hemisphere, everything in our realm is dead, essentially. You don't start something new in winter when everything's dead. You start something when things are springing up through the ground in spring. It just makes sense. Things are coming back to life. Things are starting. Things are beginning. Animals are having their babies. Plants are coming up out of the ground. That is when you start something new. That's when you make your resolutions. That's when you set your intentions for the new year. Does that make sense to all of you? I hope it does. But the Aries ingress chart is so important. Astrologers all over the world look to this chart to show us what we can expect globally in the coming year. So I look first at this design. Let me make this a little bigger. I'll pull it over. It automatically looks like a Star of David. So will Israel and the Middle East be playing a prominent role in this coming year? I don't know. Will people of Jewish faith be playing a prominent role in this coming year? That's visually what I saw at first. And I don't know, do you see it? Let me know. So the spring equinox happens at 0 degrees, 0 minutes of Aries. And it happens the moment that the sun moves into that position. And we will read the chart accordingly to see, well, what's happening. So the ascendant, the rising sign here is in Aquarius. This is new. This is innovation. This is rebellion. This is revolution. Pluto is in Aquarius, but it's in the 12th house. So something is still hidden, hidden death, hidden secrets, hidden power that could be. Did I write down anything? I did. Let's see, what else do we have? So we do see that Neptune is in that final 29th anaretic degree, uh, indicating crisis and decay. Where is that happening? In the second house of value, which includes self-worth, money, the things that we love, immaterial things or material things. But, we have the South Node here in the 8th house. This is about money and finance, banking and economy. So I think we're going to have a huge highlight on money, for this whole entire year, which I talked about in my financial report. The moon, representing the people in mundane astrology, is right up here at the midheaven. What's being seen in the outer world is this people rising up, people revolting, people protesting about what's going on in the world. I feel like with the majority of the planets below the horizon, just about everything is below the horizon with the exception of Pluto, which is power, death, transformation, but it's in the 12th house of hospitals, jails, institutions. So we're going to see a lot of that. And then we have the moon, which mothers, women in general, but it is the people. So that's going to be a very big highlight for the year. People, and what I'm picking up is like people in hiding, people staying home, people locked away, people keeping to themselves, people really minding their finances. Now, Uranus being in the 4th house, I would say this could be March, or the coming months could be a very volatile time for earthquakes. And I just like got earthquakes and disruptions in the home, damages in the home. This 29th degree of Neptune is an indication of flooding. So I wanted to point that out. I feel like there will be a lot of natural disasters. Pluto in Pisces, that also rules poisons, poisoning of waters, waterways. Neptune rules oil and gas, like petroleum. So prices, I think, are okay for now, but when it enters Aries, March 30th, we could see petroleum prices skyrocketing. Also want to point out in my financial report, when the North Node is in Pisces, there are economic downturns. And we are definitely in an economic downturn. North Node will be in Pisces for another 17 months. And then it goes into Aquarius, which is rock bottom as far as the economy is concerned. So that's why I was predicting a 36-month downturn. Doesn't happen overnight. Like, it takes time for this to happen. You figure over the course of 36 months, it's slowly inching its way towards that rock bottom before it starts to pull out and make a comeback. So we're slowly seeing markets going down. Markets are extremely volatile. That would be Venus in Aries. Communications. There's a lot. You're going to start to hear a lot of people talking about how they are wounded, how they're being hurt by whatever is happening in the world and in the economy. And that's maybe where people start to rise up. I don't know, but if anything, if nothing else, we truly have to find, if not for ourselves, I mean, if not for others, at least for ourselves, we have to find the love and the lovely moments in every single day. Otherwise, we're going to lose our minds. Okay. Silence is complicity. So speak up, speak your mind, but don't let yourselves be driven crazy by everything that's going on. Can't watch the news on television because you're not going to get accurate information. You've got to read your news from reputable sources and do a lot of research, or just not. You can't get your news really from social media, or if you see something on the news or on social media, you've got to do the research to find out what the real truth of everything that you're looking at it is. I saw a picture of something the other day and I'm like, let me put that in the Google lens and make sure that this is real. And it turned out it was fake. So, and it was, I thought, from a reputable source. So you got to be really careful. That is a lot of what this Neptune in Pisces at the final degree is. Like, we are being hoodwinked left and right by people we know, by people we don't know, by our governments. We're being lied to. A lot of scams, a lot of fraud happening all over. But I feel like once Neptune moves into Aries and starts to gain a little momentum, that veil of lies will be lifted, and or maybe our eyes just open. I don't know. We'll have to revisit that to see what's happening. All right, so Aries Ingress chart, you want to see, where does Aries show up in your chart? That will be the house that's being activated for new beginnings. Yeah, I think that is all I wanted to say. With the exception of, let's bring this back up, these last little bits of Pisces that are remaining. We want to remember we have an overwhelming amount of emotional energy happening in the world with so much energy in Pisces. You know, at the new moon on the 27th, we've got the sun, the moon, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and the North Node all in Pisces with Mars in Cancer. It's a lot. We want to prioritize our energy and be really discerning how you're doling out your energy. I think sleeping and resting and eating well and, you know, like reading a book, being out in the garden, or even cleaning your home, is going to be so much more beneficial than spending time with people because it's draining. Even if it's somebody that you love, you don't know what they're going through. Their energy could be very draining. Want to be really careful too about what crystals you are using. When I say crystals, I mean stones. I'm recommending jaspers and agates at this time because they are very grounding, in addition to black tourmaline, obsidian. I always have this obsidian on, hematite. Quartz-based crystals are acting like an antenna. So if you're stressed out and experiencing anxiety, if you are using any quartz-based crystals such as clear quartz, citrine, amethyst, rose quartz, I think that, smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is even going to pick up on that antenna. It's amplifying the energy that is coming in. You may want to put up some protection in your windows, whether it be like a crystal hanging from each side of your house all the way around to reflect back out the energy that's coming in. Because think about it, in your neighborhoods, everybody's feeling a certain way about everything that's going on. We're being flooded with everybody else's energy in addition to our own. That's why tapping into your intuition is going to be so important, because do you even know if what you're feeling and the craziness going on in your mind is coming from you or something outside, external? Every morning when I'm sitting with my coffee and I give my animals their treats, I light a stick of Palo Santo and I smudge myself after having one sip of coffee, and then I let that burn while I'm enjoying my coffee. So I'm constantly protecting my space, protecting my home. It is essential. Getting out into nature and grounding is also important, but jaspers and agates are really wonderful stones. Black tourmaline, keep it with you. Protect yourselves and really limit your exposure to humans at this time, and electronics, which includes your television and your devices. Healing our souls, focusing on flow, trusting intuition, listening to our hearts, finding a connection to something that's bigger than ourselves, meaning, like helping somebody else out. When we help other people, it really will take your focus off of feeling sorry for yourself. So just make sure that they ask you for the help. Pisces energy has a tendency for self-sacrifice, martyrdom, escapism, and overindulgence in alcohol and drugs. But if we can focus on service to others, helping other people or helping animals or something, it will bring great satisfaction. Okay, going. There we go. So with this Aries ingress, before I let it go, this is a dial versus the wheel. So this would be an astrological wheel. And this is taking that same chart, and now I can't get it to come. All right. And turning it into a wheel, which cordons off the mutable signs versus the cardinal signs and the fixed signs. These are mutables as well. And the reason why I wanted to show this was the Aries ingress chart for the vernal equinox. And it just lumps the modes so all together so that we can see the concentration in energy. So for the mutables, It's really mostly the points that we're seeing. We have, the midheaven at 0 and the IC at 0, immutables. So it's like our outer world and our inner world are in flux, and they're very bendable and mutable at this time. So the fixed signs, we have the ascendant and the descendant. This is ourselves, how we're showing up in the outer world, and the people that are our closest partnerships or even our enemies, how they're showing up in the world. It's not on a world point, so that would have to be around 15 degrees. So the significance there is less. Do we have now the vertex being at 7 degrees of Virgo is saying that on this Aries ingress, somebody new could be coming in. Is this the Pope passing and having to be taken over? Is this some world leader ill or passing away? World leader also is the Pope, and somebody new having to come in. Don't know. And then we have the cardinal signs. This is where everything is initiated and begun. So there is Chiron with Mars in the cardinal axis. And this is showing me that there is a wound, a male wounding, that is creating a lot of this chaos in the world. It is the wound of the male ego, or that masculine patriarchy that we're seeing. But I love that with this Pisces energy, up here, is that we're still in balance with yin and yang for now. We are coming into a highly masculine energy for the next few years. It's very toxic feeling, but it could end up in a renaissance when women step up and claim the power that they have had suppressed for so long. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, for the March financials, if you saw my financial report, I pointed out, I highlighted a lot of these areas throughout the chart showing financial volatility. These are the eclipses. I don't even think that I've highlighted everything, but I feel like March starts the tipping point of a lot of financial volatility in the world. We're all under this. So it's not even like it's anybody's fault, really, because no matter how elections turned out, either way, we would have been going through this just the same. Maybe the level or the degree of what the globe is going to be feeling economically would have been changed depending on, who is running what. But it was evident that we would have been going through some sort of a blip. Like I said, I feel like there's a 36-month economic downturn. When does it really come in and hit? I would say, remember the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, is the degree of crisis and decay. So here we have 29 Pisces for Venus. We also have 29 Pisces for Neptune. The north, well, these are not at 29, but Venus is a financial indicator. So I feel like these are all trigger points that I have highlighted. These are the dates on the side, March 14th, March 28th. I feel like the very beginning of the month is slightly volatile. So we'll have to wait and see, how that pans out. But here we are. I made that financial report a couple months ago, and now we're in it. April, I didn't really highlight a whole lot other than the fact that Venus is retrograde. Mars is getting near the 29th degree. Mars is an inflationary indicator. Neptune has moved into Aries, which is an inflation indicator. It is also the world point. And then Mercury stationing direct. Anytime a planet stations to go retrograde or direct, it adds energy to it. Mercury will also be entering Aries. So we have a lot of inflationary indicators in the month of April. And then May, I didn't really highlight a whole lot in the month of May because those planets are already kind of still set in their positions. So this is more of what we've seen before, but we can take a look and see now Saturn is hitting that 29th degree and entering Aries. So here we're adding gasoline to the fire. Now, Saturn does block and restrict some things. So this could slow down some inflationary numbers that we were maybe seeing in March and April and the beginning, like 3/4 of the month of May. Maybe that puts some brakes on the economy and there's some sort of economic relief at that point. We will have to wait and see. The way that these planets are lining up have never been seen before, or, for some of the cases like Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, it's been more than 300 years since we've seen that. So we can't really even say what it's going to look like, how it's going to show up. And now I have your cards. Before I get into the actual card readings, the tarot cards associated with March are the Moon and the Emperor. So Pisces is represented by the Moon. The Moon card embodies intuition and dreams, capturing the emotional depths of Pisces. The symbolism of the Moon represents intuition, dreams, and the subconscious, inviting deep emotional exploration and introspection. And then Aries, the Emperor, or the Ram, the Emperor card embodies power, action, and taking charge. And the symbolism behind that is fire energy at its finest. Time to get up and get moving, make something happen. This is the beginning of a new era, because we have been steeped in earth and water for the last 250-ish years. And now we're moving into a few hundred years of air and fire. It's completely different energy. In a way, it's less emotional, but it could be more volatile. So, with water signs, that's very emotional. It's very intuitive. And then the earth is very grounding. The air and the fire, it's all mental and our primal instincts almost. So it is rage, aggression, and anger are often the forefront of this energy. It's also symbolized by the bully. So Aquarius, the star. Oh, did I not change this? Oh, that was left over from the last slide. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did there, but there we go. That was an oops. All right, now time for your cards for all zodiac signs. Have to stop sharing. Oh, darn. Stop sharing. All right, so I know it was a lot, and the card readings are going to be a lot because they're an hour and a half long. So you're going to want to look for timestamps, and please leave your questions, your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel. I hope you like this video. Stay tuned because I am going to be doing world event videos. There's just too much information, energy, and planetary movement to talk all about it in one video. I mean, it would probably be 6 hours long. So I have to break it up. This one is already long enough. I am hoping April is going to be much shorter because we don't have that all the craziness. We'll have a break between March and May when everything starts to shift again. All right, so happy March. And until next time, stay sane. Hi, welcome to the cards for all zodiac signs. You want to pay attention to your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign, and maybe any stellium or cluster of planets that you have in your chart. So you could potentially have 3, 4, or more cards that you're going to be looking for. But I feel like with the times that we are in, there's just so much energy on the planet. It's really important for us to look towards our own moon signs and follow the advice of your particular moon. So before I get into the cards, or maybe I'll do it when I do the cards. Yeah, I'll give your moon advice as I'm pulling the cards for each zodiac sign. And today I'm going to use 3 different decks. I really want to give you all a very good card reading for the month of March 2025. So I'll be using the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. I am also going to use the Aboriginal Ancestral Wisdom Oracle, and this is by Mel Brown. And then I have my little, my little Signs and Sky Mates Astrological Compatibility deck. These little cards have messages on them for each card pick. So I thought that would be good to combine all of those together. All right, so let's get started. I'll start with Aries. Aries, your moon talks about action and getting things started and initiating things. But as you are ruled by Mars, the planet of action or aggression, it's important that if you are feeling stress and anxiety, that you would do some physical action, meaning get out and exercise, walk, clean your house, do some chores. You have to physically move your body for the Aries moon signs. I would even say for rising and sun signs as well. You need to burn that energy off. Sex is also really a great energetic burner. So you could do that. You can't sit idly. And so that's my advice for Aries moon. Your sun sign mate is Gemini Leo. And This is getting in touch with the storytellers and the showstoppers in your life. The motto here is life with them feels adventurous and free, and maybe getting out and enjoying adventures with a Gemini or a Leo. I would think that that could be a great combination for the Aries. Your Aboriginal card, it is violent, but it is also peaceful. So you have to remember every planet, every sign has two sides, every house, everything in astrology, everything in life has two sides to it. So we have the violent and the peaceful card. Aries, suns, risings, moons, stelliums. I am sure that you're going through a lot of this energy right now between peace and violence, anger and calmness. And so, what are you going to do with that energy? And I suggest that you get out and start moving your body, actually burning calories. Um, you know, depending on where what your weather is. I know for me personally, I hate the winter. I don't want to go out and walk in 70-mile-per-hour winds when it's 0 degrees out, making it feel like -15. I just don't want to do it. I want to stay in and be calm. But this is also about finding the inner peace within yourselves versus the violence. And I think this is going to play a huge role in the upcoming month of March when the sun moves into Aries, because there are indicators in the astrology of an uptick in violence or peaceful protests. Either way, two sides of the coin. Your archangel card is Queen of Gabrielle. And this says you can do anything right now. Go after what you want, the ability to attract helpful people. So you can do anything right now. Go after what you want and having the ability to attract helpful people. I have to mention too that Mars is in its fall, in one of its worst placements in Cancer, but it is getting ready to station direct. Therefore, it will be activated in your chart, and now is the time to start to move forward. Taurus. So if you are a Taurus moon, the way that you can nurture your moon is by taking in things that are pleasures to the senses, eating good food, a bite of something really delicious. So that could be some fruit, that could be some chocolate, not overindulging, but just allowing your senses to take in the smell and the taste. Flowers, beautiful scents, really nice luxurious sheets and bedding, things that feel and taste and smell and look beautiful and sensuous. That is how you nurture a Taurus moon. All right, so your sky mate card is Leo Sagittarius. And this is talking about the main characters in your life. This is what you're going to focus on, hyping up people in your life that are important to you and that you love. And life with them can feel like two suns colliding. Leo is also a fixed sign, so there is rigidity there. For Taurus, this is just saying maybe you need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, Taurus, and get some more fire and adventure and creativity in your life. Your Aboriginal card, it's sadness, but it can also be joyful. So these are the two sides of your coin this month. let's take a look at what's happening in Taurus. Is we have Uranus, the planet of chaos, unexpected things happening, that could take you into a place of sadness, depending on how you're reacting to everything going on in the world. So my suggestion is to find the things in your life that you can find to be joyful and bring out the best in you. Look for the gratitude. But I think for all of us, it's so super important right now to find the joy every single day. Do whatever you can to find something to be joyful about. Even if it's only for a few minutes a day, I would recommend much more of that. But really seeking out the joy and joyful times for the Taurus suns, risings, and moon. I'll take that advice because I'm a Taurus rising, and I have been doing that. I've been trying to clean my glasses, put more of my focus on doing fun things with fun people, um, and just doing things that make me happy and not worrying about what other people think or want me to do. Or, I'm going to focus on my own joy and happiness. I think a lot of times we all are so people pleasing that we're constantly, yesing people to death, even though we don't want to. That ends, Taurus. All right. And your archangel card is Page of Michael. Truthful, perceptive, analytical, and blunt. An exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts or documents very thoroughly. So Archangel Michael is the protector. The page is something brand new. It's usually communication is what I'm seeing, like in this picture with the air, but there's the clouds are also indicating that there is fogginess and uncertainty. The owl talks about wisdom. The kite is messages on the air as well as the owl, but I think I'm picking up like electricity, something brand new happening. But being truthful, perceptive, analytical, and blunt is what your angel recommendation is. Tone down this lighting a little bit. Try and fix the lighting. I'll keep it like that. I see it glaring in my glasses and it's kind of driving me a little crazy. Okay, so we have Gemini. Gemini, the message from your moon, Gemini, would be about communications and our mind. So, Gemini, you could be on information overload. So, how can a Gemini really nurture their moon? This is for Gemini moons. I would say either you have to go and do some public speaking, or a really good way to get that, get an outlet for that over mental stimulation, and this is going to be recommended for Virgo moons as well, is you've got to journal. You have to do something creative with your mind, putting, pen to paper, paint to paper, stimulating the mind and burning your energy that way, but not absorbing. All right, so you're not watching TV, you're not watching the news, you're not scrolling through social media. You need to get what's up here and in here out on to paper, even if nobody ever sees it. And that could be as far in the form of creative writing or creative art of some sort. Also for Gemini, neighborhoods and travel and siblings are also highlighted. So the nurturing of that is, maybe you want to hang out with your siblings. Maybe you want to take a day trip. doing something like that will definitely also clear the mind. Day trip, good music, just go for a nice car ride. Highly recommended. So your Guy Mates card, it's Scorpio Sagittarius. And this is, it says who they are, the lie detector and the philosopher. So Geminis, you may be encountering people in that realm that are the lie detector and the philosopher. So be really careful about speaking truthfully. And also don't don't be over preachy, because I know with all the knowledge that Gemini has, sometimes that you could be over preachy. These people could show up in your life to show you that side of yourself. All right, so doing some research, learning something, say for example, ancient Egypt hieroglyphics. That is definitely kind of like a Gemini thing because it is language communication. Putting your focus into something to distract you from all the external media would be good. And it's time for you to make yourself feel alive again, Gemini. Staying up in the mind, in your own little world, can be detrimental. So it is recommended that you do something hobby-wise to stimulate your mind outside of your own little world. And that could be joining a hobby with a group that maybe you would never have associated yourself with. This way you can meet new people, and it would be very healthily stimulating for the Geminis. I'm going to have to remember that because I am a Gemini sun sign. And as I'm saying that, I have absolutely no desire to go into a group of people that I wouldn't normally associate with. But it's got me thinking, like, oh, is there an art class I can take or something little different that'll take, maybe an hour of my time per week, do something different, meet new people. Your Aboriginal card, it is vulnerable and it is astonished. So, I have to think about that for a second. The astonished to me would be going out into the world, getting out of your mind and actually physically going out in the world and finding something that would astonish you. First thing that comes to my mind is something in nature, something beautiful. So take that day trip to somewhere that you will see something that would amaze you. That means that you need to allow yourselves to be a little vulnerable. Gemini's suns, risings, and moons will often stay within themselves, like an introversion, because it's more comfortable and we like ourselves. And we don't have to be vulnerable putting ourselves out there. But I challenge you to go and do something amazing that will astonish you. And it makes me think about my friend Dawn, who just did this 5-hour road trip to go pick up something. And the pictures that she posted along her way on the road trip, and she's a Gemini, I'm sure she was astonished by the things that she saw. And so I love that. I love that for her. And it just made me think about what we as Geminis can do. Your Archangel card is the Eight of Raphael. So as soon as I think of Raphael, I think of healing. Raphael is about health. You could see that, well, maybe you can't. Raphael is green colored card. And this says there is something better waiting for you. do what you know is right for you. It's a spiritual quest. And so I think that that even further solidifies the recommendation of, taking a road trip or start trying something new. Um, and that it would be beneficial to your health overall. I know being a Gemini, I can get so caught up in my head that I know it's unhealthy. And if we are too mentally overstimulated, it's very unhealthy. So let's break free from from our mental jail. All right, so cancers. Cancer, you are ruled by the moon. And therefore, you can change emotions every 2 to 2.5 days. It's almost like a little bit of a roller coaster. Cancers, Mars has been sitting in Cancer for quite some time, and it's breaking free and moving forward on February 23rd, heading towards Leo. But there's a lot of influence with that. With Cancer being ruled by the moon, how do you nurture yourselves with the Cancer moon? I would say nurturing is the key. So the moon is represented by the mother, the nurturer, someone who cares for other people, takes care of things. When you're doing that, whether it's for children or other people, or even yourself, when you are in full nurturing submersion, that is where you would thrive. You can go and nurture a garden. You can nurture an animal. Nurturing is the key. Putting yourself at service will get you out of your emotions and allow you to utilize your energy in a more productive way. If you're just sitting in feeling sorry for yourselves, Cancer, and overly emotional, that is not productive. So find someone or something to nurture. But definitely start with filling up your own cup first, nurturing yourself so that you're full enough that you can go and offer your services to someone else. It could be as simple as, picking up something for a neighbor or a friend, helping someone out with their children for half an hour so that they can go nurture themselves, making a pot of soup for someone and sharing it with your friends, things like that, or making a meal. If you are fortunate enough to be able to be gardening now, I would say get out into the garden, ground yourselves, and utilize the moon that way. Your Sky Mate card, Cancers, it's Pisces, Pisces. I feel like there's two cards here. There are. Oh, Pisces, Pisces, Aquarius, Pisces. So, Cancers, this is the dream weavers, dreaming things up, having cosmic adventures and lucid dreams. Find something that makes you lose track of time. And then also, it's the alchemist and the mystic trying to read other people's minds, like really use your intuition. If you are a Cancer, you Cancer rising, Cancer moon, you would probably be very intuitive, right? So you got to utilize that. That will also help you get out of your own emotions. Also trying to, make things a little more magical. Try to make your mundane tasks magical in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's when you're making that pot of soup, pretending like you're doing some sort of witch's brew or herbalist brew. And, I believe that when a person's cooking, they're putting all of their emotion and their love and their magic into what they're cooking. So do it very mindfully, but turn your mundane tasks into something magical. Like if you're going to the drugstore, the pharmacy, the apothecary, you could say, oh, I'm going to the apothecary instead of, the CVS. Mm, Try and bring some more magic into your lives, Cancer. Your Aboriginal card, ironically, is nurture. I love that. But what's on the other side of that is discourage. So, what is the energy that you are currently in at the moment? Are you in the nurturing mode or are you in a discouraging mode? Do you feel discouraged at the moment? If so, you want to turn it around and start to nurture your own self. And like I said, think about after you fill yourself up, how can you nurture someone or something else outside of yourself? Because when you do that, it really takes the focus off of our own suffering. And your Archangel card, I love it, Unicorn, 9 of Ariel, adorable. Ariel is the keeper of animals. 9 of Ariel says, your dreams are fulfilled. Hard work leads to great success. A love for the beautiful things in life. Look at that. It's just like so sunshiny. So to me, what this is saying is like, if you can get out of your own emotions and put that to good use, cha-ching, success, happiness. All right, we are at Leo. I need a little coffee break. Leos. So I am a Leo moon. How do I nurture my Leo moon? It is through creativity, through this, putting myself out here, um, putting my face out into the world. That's part of a Leo moon. Children, inner child, joy, romance. I would love some romance. How can we be romantic with ourselves if we're single, right? But spending your time doing something creative, Leo, spending your time with children or something you did when you were a child that brought you joy and made the hours countless, like, you lose track of time. That's how I would recommend someone with a Leo moon to really nurture themselves. Um, what else? Sunshine, definitely. Leos are ruled by the sun, so you need to get out into the sunshine, even if it's bitter cold. And I don't like the cold, but every single day I will try to get out several times during the day, allow the sunshine to hit my face so that I can absorb it. You can see I have beautiful bright sunshine coming in this window. Soak in the cold air, let the sun wash over your face. Leo, it's about fire energy and it is creativity and it is joy. So yeah, that's how you would nurture a Leo moon. Let's see what your Sky Mate card is. Sky Mate, Sagittarius, Pisces. And this is the wanderlusters. So you want to bring more wanderlust into your life, Leos. Singing up a storm at karaoke. So that would definitely be something very Leo to do, is putting yourself out there and making yourself a little vulnerable, allowing yourself to sing at karaoke. I used to do that all the time with my daughter, but I don't know. We don't really go out anymore. We'll go to a nice meal. And you want something, it says time both speeds up and slows down when you're around people that bring out the best in you. You want to bring out the best in yourself. And so this to me is just saying, like, find things in your life that will speed up and slow down time when you're doing it, or the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Your Aboriginal card looks very much like fire. It is delighted, very much a fire Leo card. Matches my shirt too. But on the flip side, it's sorrowful. So, Leos, are you feeling sorry for yourselves? Are you in this place where you're lacking the joy? You're not nurturing the joy. You're not nurturing your inner child. And because we all have moments of sorrowful sadness, whatever. You don't stay in that. Part of it is taking accountability for the way you feel, taking accountability for where you are. And it's time to turn that sorrowfulness into delight. And the only way that you can do that is by doing things that are joyful, doing something creative, possibly, finding some romance, even romancing yourself. How can a single person romance themselves? And I say it's by the way that you show up, the way that you take care of yourself, the little things that you do for yourself, eating some really delicious foods, like taking some advice from the Taurus, the pleasure of the senses. That is how you delight yourself. So Leo, yeah, I just feel like it's time to come out and play and be more playful and stop the martyrdom is the message I'm getting. And your archangel card it is peace. Archangel Azrael. It says release the past. There is a more enriching future coming. Let go and let God. So this is about finding your place of peace. It is card 13, which is all about the cycles in life, feminine creation. Archangel Azrael, if I'm remembering correctly, is the archangel of death. So this is saying it's time to let something die and go and find your inner peace. If you're holding on to something that needs to be gone, it's very painful. And then there comes that sorrowfulness. I mean, it's not easy to let things go. We all know that. But when we do, let go and let flow. That's your message. All right. So for the Virgos, the little virgins, if you have a Virgo moon, how do you nurture your Virgo moon? So for Virgos, it will be very much like Gemini, with the exception of, let me back up. So because you're both ruled by Mercury, it is communication, it is the mind, that mental stimulation. However, Virgo rules the sixth house of health and work, daily life, small animals. So for Virgos, I also feel like all right, maybe organize a closet, organize your drawers, start to purge and clean things out. That's how you're going to nurture your Virgo moon. You can also journal, like I recommended for the Geminis, for the Gemini moons. Creativity could also be, so I said for the Gemini moons, you want to write things out and journal them, but you can also use that in a creative, artistic way and creating pieces of art. But I really feel like for the Virgo, getting things organized and taking care of details are going to be the way to nurture your moon. And because Virgo rules health, You also want to make sure that you are eating well and drinking plenty of water. The South Node is in Virgo for the next 18 months, well, 17 now. And so we could be experiencing a lot of digestive issues if you have Virgo sun, rising moon, or a stellium in Virgo. So it's going to be super important to really nurture the stomach and the digestive system. Ironically, the North Node's in Pisces, and that rules the feet. And so when you're taking really good care of your feet, rubbing them down every night before you go to bed, when you're taking care of your lymphatic system, Virgos, it will also improve your overall health. Yeah, go clean out a closet. That's how you're going to nurture your moon. Oh, and small pets, whether they're yours or someone else's, like try and have some interaction with some small animals, because that will also nurture the Virgo moon. Getting out into the garden, because Virgo is an earth sign, and also taking in nature and the animals that are outside in nature, observing them, listening to bird song. That will definitely nurture a Virgo moon. And your primate card is Virgo Pisces. It's the health axis, and that is where the North and South nodes are. North node in Pisces, South node in Virgo for the next remaining 17 months. It is the yin and yang energy, giving yourself and others holistic massages with natural oils, essential oils. That's what I was talking about with the feet, but also like the lymphatics. This is recommending lymphatic massage. It's going to be so important if you have heavy placements in Virgo, because there could be stasis in the intestines, in the digestive organs, pancreas, gallbladder, your liver. You're going to need to really lighten the way that you eat. I'm going to recommend that for everybody in the stars when I do those charts, because otherwise we could definitely have a backup and a buildup. And then also, this is talking about being an old soul, recalling past lives, being eternally youthful at the same time. So having a lot of wisdom, yet at the same time being eternally youthful. What makes you feel young? Your Aboriginal card, Virgo, it's hope, and then it's hopelessness. Say hopelessness? Yeah. Hope and hopelessness. So Virgos, are some of you in a hopeless frame of mind right now? There is a lot going on the planet, a lot going on in the world, probably a lot going on in your own lives. Things could feel chaotic. With the South Node in Virgo, there is a lot of stress in that placement for the next 17 months. You want to go back and take a look and see what was happening 18 years ago, because that's the same exact placement as it is right now. Because it'll have a similar theme, but it has a similar theme, but it's coming up to a different ascension. Why are you feeling hopelessness? How can we turn that around to a feeling of hope? Well, for Virgos, doing something for someone else, putting yourself at service for someone else after taking really good care and nurturing your own self, filling your own cup, could be essential. When you are helping another, Virgos, you get a sense of pride, you get a sense of joy. This could even be helping yourself. So what else can I draw from that? I feel like a lot of this is about finding the wanderlust in life and stop focusing on the things that make you feel hopeless. If it is the outer world, turn off the TV, stop scrolling on social media. Just watch my videos for the inspiration. Well, I don't know because I'm going to do a world events video coming up and I don't feel so great about it. But there's always two sides to everything. And so you make the choice of, do you want to feel hopeless or do you want to have a sense of hope? Your archangel card is the Eight of Ariel. And so there's definitely an animal theme going on here. It says, take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Well, you know that, Virgo, already. Consider getting additional education or training. So yeah, that would definitely be really good for the Virgos, learning something brand new, especially if you're overstimulated. Get out of your comfort zone and go and learn something brand new, whether it's a new technique to something you're already doing or just like a brand new subject. Doesn't have to be you enrolling in university and taking up a whole course of study. It could be something new that you're learning. Search YouTube videos, learn how to do a PowerPoint, learn how to do an Excel spreadsheet. That's great for Virgos, by the way, because of the analytics. So yeah, I love that. The Eight of Ariel. All right. Moving on, we have Libra. So Libra, how do you nurture a Libra moon? I would say you got to bring things into balance, but Libra is ruled by Venus. And so that is beautiful things and money. And so how can a Libra nurture themselves? You can do it by spending or making money, but you need to find a perfect balance, right? Because Libras could have a tendency to spend too much money because they love the beautiful things. Beautiful things also come in the way of the senses, like Taurus, with beautiful flowers and delicious food and the sensual pleasures of how something feels, really gorgeous sheets and beautiful gardens, getting out and turning off that overstimulation. If you can find some time to garden, even if it's on your own windowsill, start some seeds. This is the perfect time of year where things are going to start sprouting. Love and peace are definitely themes for the Libra moon. Where can you be more peaceful to yourself and stop negative self-talk? That'll be essential and a really good way to nurture a Libra moon. Also, you could be learning something new as well. I feel that'll be essential for almost anybody. So your Dimate card, it is Taurus Aquarius. So you're going to take a lot of lessons from that Taurus for the sensuality, the pleasure of the senses. This says the rock star and the rebel. And that really sounds so much like Libra, because on one hand, you are rock star, the other one, you're the rebel. And it's like you're constantly trying to balance. This is fiercely debating other people, yourself, which I find funny because I know Libras can be wonderful debaters. And so with this energy, it's a now you see them, now you don't type of energy. And what I'm picking up from that is really be discerning with your time and how you're spending it with other people. And are these the right people? Are they enriching your life? Are they giving you something back that makes you feel energetic? Now you see them, now you don't, is you don't have to spend large amounts of time with people. You can do it in small pockets. But this is saying, like, this could be a good time for you to be spending more time with yourself and finding the things that bring you joy instead of looking for those things externally outside of yourself. Your archangel card, it is the Five of Raphael. So immediately I think of, with Raphael, I think of health and healing. And the five is about change. All right. So what in your life about the way that you are living your life maybe needs to change? This says everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. But I feel as though um, with the Five of Raphael, it says it's time to make some big changes in your life so that you can live a more healthful, happier life. This is also indicating that there could be some Libra suns, rising moons that are having some sadness and regret of something that didn't work out for them. Um, and with that, I guess you have to work through that, but it would be good to do something healthy and healthful for yourself. And think of at least one thing in your life that can change your health, your body, mind, or spirit right now, right here, that you could practice and incorporate on a regular basis. And it has to be something small, because like when we try and take on these big grand gestures of a resolution, like New Year's resolutions or whatever, they often get dropped within the first 2 weeks because our intentions are good, but things aren't sustainable. So try something, change something, drink more water. Like, can you consciously drink at least one extra glass of water per day? Something small like that. Okay, Libras, that's all I have for you for now. I know Libras want something grander, bigger, but now that the South Node has moved out of Libra after 18 months, it's a little lackluster, but the pressure's off, the heat is off. And so you should take that as a win for now, anyway. All right, Scorpio. How to nurture a Scorpio moon. Well, it's a little dark and dank and mysterious and hidden and very secluded. How can you open up a little bit more, Scorpio, and nurture yourself? So you're ruled traditionally by Mars. So that would mean take action, moving your body, getting out of that stagnancy. And then Pluto, purging something could be really good for nurturing the Scorpio moon, maybe doing your taxes, doing something romantic for somebody else would also be highlighted. The Scorpio moon needs to research and dig deep into things. So you can find yourself a little pet project, maybe learn something new and do some research on a topic that, maybe harkens back from a past life, something in history that you really found fascinating. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of time doing it, but you may. Like maybe even researching your own genealogy would definitely be something fantastic for a Scorpio moon. All right, so let's see. Your Skymate card is Cancer Scorpio. Interesting, because Mars, traditional ruler of Scorpio, is in Cancer at the moment, and it's getting ready to station direct and move forward. So this is a perfect time to start something new, Scorpios, suns, risings, moons, stelliums, launching something brand new, moving your body. It's about stagnancy, especially with the North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. there could be some stagnancy in your lower bowels. I know that sounds gross, but you got to get up and move, get your body moving. Um, these are the spiritual home bodies. You like to stay within your own little cocoon. But can you find people that you could brainstorm with and how to survive or solve a social crisis that could be going on around you? Doing some research, going back in history, how did other civilizations figure certain things out? Um, and this is also, how can you look at other people with love and warmth in their soul when there's so much hate in the world? And I know that that might sound crazy, but Scorpios could be a little vindictive, especially if they've been hurt by somebody. How can you look at people that have hurt you with love and warmth is going to be a recommendation. Your Aboriginal card is, it's thankful and ungrateful. So ungrateful and thankful. Let me do that over. Thankful and ungrateful. I can't get the screens right. So Scorpios, are you in an ungrateful moment? Are you feeling no gratitude in your heart? This would be a really great time to practice gratitude, starting a gratitude journal. I know that this could be an extremely emotional time, especially with Saturn and Neptune coming down to the final degrees in Pisces, a sister water sign. You can feel the tugs of emotions welling up deep within you. If you can write down one thing that you're grateful for every single day, and then maybe even build it up to 3 things, eventually it becomes such a habit that you start to see everything from a gratitude place, a thankful place, a more open-hearted place. And Scorpios, so if you've been very withdrawn and you've been very much within your own misery and suffering, you've got to start a gratitude journal. You have to find the gratitude for everything in your life. I know I don't have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, only Neptune, which is enough. But back when I was younger, I could feel very for myself, and it wasn't until I started practicing gratitude that my entire life changed for the better in every way, shape, and form. So now it's just such habit after 30 plus years of practicing gratitude that um I don't even have to think about it. It's like, oh, I'm so grateful for this one spark of a moment. That's the place that Scorpios need to get to right now. Take something that has brought adversity to you and try to find the gratitude in that. Your most difficult challenge at this moment, find the gratitude in that. And then start from there. Your Archangel card is the 7 of Raphael. So this is some deep healing on a very spiritual level. Time to make a decision, be clear on what you want and take action, and a need for detoxification, which is definitely a theme of Scorpio. Scorpios have a tendency to hold on to toxins in the body, and they rule the elimination system in the body. So this is a great time for you to do head to toe, body, mind, and spirit detox. All right, Sagittarius. So how do we nurture a Sagittarius moon? And I think that that's pretty easy with it being a fire sign ruled by Jupiter that likes everything so big, and adventurous and freedom loving. I say road trip for the Sagittarius moon people. You could even do this if you are a Sagittarius, but Definitely learning something new, finding a way that you can bring justice to a situation. And there's also different, maybe picking up a different spiritual practice is definitely a way to nurture a Sagittarius moon, but there's a need for freedom. There is a need for adventure. There's a need for learning. It could be as simple as picking up a new book about, like a travel adventure or something, which I should have mentioned for the Scorpios. A mystery novel could be really good. However, yeah, that's how I would nurture a Sagittarius moon, like hopping in the car, going for a road trip. Although Sagittarius typically rules things overseas, so get on an airplane. Well, I don't know about that, but think of some big time travel. And that could be as easy as, I know on the streaming service that I use for my TV, they have beautiful gallery with beaches, and I'll let that run all day, or underwater sea adventures. And that makes me feel like I'm on a tropical island. And so I have South Node in Sagittarius. So that's how I nurture that part of myself, but also learning something brand new, going back to school for something, getting a certification for something. Sagittarius rules higher learning, not just, learning something like a new hobby or whatever. It's actually getting certified in something brand new. And also rules justice systems. So, is there a cause that you can stand up for and be more active in? That's how you would nurture a Sagittarius moon. Okay, and your Sky Mate card is Taurus Capricorn. So, I know Sagittarius can be a little over the top. And here we're bringing in some grounding earth energy for the Sagittarians. This is long-term commitments, long-term friends. Seek them out at this time. Um, See how they are living and manifesting their best lives. Instead of wishing and wondering, Sagittarius, what can you do to live and manifest your best life? And it's talking about building something with intention and not something just willy-nilly and like, oh, I'm all excited about this right now, but building something with intention that will last. That's the recommendation for Sagittarius. Your Aboriginal card is, kind of looks earthy yet fiery. It's serenity, serene. And then on the opposite end, it's agitated. So I feel like when you have a lot of fire in your chart, it's very easy to be agitated. It's very easy to be triggered by things, social injustices, rotten people, rotten meals, rotten situations, trigger, trigger, trigger. And there are so many triggers in the world right now. I think it's really important that you recognize what is agitating you and eliminate it from your life. You need to bring more serenity into your life. Does that mean turning off the TV? Does it mean staying off social media? Stop the scrolling because it's firing you up. Sagittarians are so full of fire. Jupiter makes it bigger. Jupiter is in Gemini. It's in its detriment. It's in its worst spot. And it's in Gemini, the sign of the mind. So it could be driving Sagittarian suns, risings, and moons crazy with the load of information that's coming through. There's no serenity. And therefore, it just leads to total agitation. So, what I feel is Sagittarians, you need to ground that fire. You can do that by going to the ocean, by making yourself a hot salt bubble bath with some beautiful candles for the fire representation. Um, get out into the garden if you can. You need to ground yourselves. So you're going to do it with either water or with earth. According to your sky mate card, it's with the earth, doing something with intention, but you've got to find the serenity. And your archangel card, Sagittarius, is the Four of Gabrielle. So there's a message, and it is about the coming together, finding the right people, finding your tribe, finding your place in the world. It says time for celebration, abundant rewards for hard work. Release yourself from burdensome situations. The things that are agitating you, walk away from. This is about finding your serenity, your peace, and just relaxing and enjoying life, celebrating something. This is also talking about hard work. So are you wasting your time doing things that are not amounting to anything, such as in your Sky Mate card, where it says building something with intention? Now is the time, I feel, with Mars stationing direct. Now is the time for you to really start to stop effing around with things that aren't equaling up to anything, so that you can put in the hard work and celebrate it at the end of the day. It's great to have hobbies. It is great to have interests, but what is becoming of it? And is it getting you anywhere? Or is it agitating or bringing you serenity? Capricorn. So if you have a Capricorn moon, sorry, Capricorn moons are a little tough, because there is such a seriousness to it. It is hard to find the joy with a Capricorn moon. They're very stoic. So how can we nurture a Capricorn moon? I feel like you have to pick your head up out of the books, out of your work, and do something fun. Mountain climbing, hiking would definitely nurture a Capricorn moon. Ironically enough, swimming is also really good for a Capricorn moon. Going to a comedy show, definitely trying to find ways to laugh more. So watch a comedy movie, a rom-com. The murder mysteries or the true crime stories, the dramas need not apply. You need to bring some more laughter and joy into your life, and definitely burning things off by acting like the little goat. The mountain climbing or the hiking will definitely benefit you. And think of also the sea goat loves the ocean, loves the water. Capricorns that are ruled by Saturn tend to be very dry and brittle, and their demeanor can be very dry and brittle. So bringing more moisture and water into your life. Now, Saturn is currently wrapping up its 2.5-year tenure in Pisces, which is a water sign. So the waters in your body could be very stagnant at this time. So lymphatic massage would definitely be very good for you as well. We'll be moving into Aries. Things are going to get very active for the Capricorns in the coming years, months and years. Your Sky Mate card is Gemini Virgo. These mental athletes will definitely get you out of your stoicism. These are the mercurial professors learning each other's love language. So, it's interesting. I know so many Capricorns that are married to Geminis, even though that's an inconjunct or a quincunx. and they shouldn't go together, but somehow they seem to work. I know a lot of them actually. Um, but taking a look at a Gemini or a Virgo and seeing how they can play, especially mentally, would be really great for the Capricorns. Now, this says they may rub each other the wrong way, for sure, because Capricorns are so serious, and say a Gemini is not serious. Geminis know how to play. Virgos Virgos are more like a Capricorn in the fact that they will put in the work and keep their nose to the grindstone. But it's because they're into all those tiny little details, little OCD. So they could drive a Capricorn crazy because a Capricorn wants to be super efficient. Um, this is just asking you to open your mind to being more playful, taking care of some details, learning how to stimulate your mind, Capricorns. Your Aboriginal card, it's liking these Aboriginal cards. It is curious, which is definitely mercurial and mentally stimulated, or insecure. And I feel like for Capricorns, suns, risings, moons, and stelliums, maybe you bury yourself in your work and you are so serious because you have some underlying insecurity. And by you just keeping your nose to the grindstone, nobody can see that vulnerability to you. So this is a good time for you to think about what is possibly making you feel so insecure and not allowing you to open up to new things, to other things, to other points of view, and having a flowing mind. When you're just all within yourself, you're not seeing the bigger picture in the world. Be curious of different people, different points of view, different opinions, different modes of play, different activities. I feel like that will be essential, not essential, essential for the Capricorns to break out of their hard shell. And your Archangel card, Capricorns, it is the King of Ariel. And this talks about successful, stable, accomplished, and powerful. Sounds very Capricornian. Your plans are working out very well. Professional and financial success, and learning to use your resources wisely. And so I think this is the up and up and up, especially with Pluto moving out of Capricorn after being there for 20 years. This is a wonderful sign for the Capricorns that things are finally starting to move in the right direction. All right, Aquarius, there's been so much highlight on you, and there will be for the next 20 years because of Pluto in Aquarius. We also have Jupiter in Gemini. So I know Aquarius have been so in the spotlight, that Aquarian energy, and that's going to back off a little bit because we're putting more highlight into Pisces and Aries for the coming years that are coming up. Well, we're moving out of Pisces and we're moving into that Aries fire. So what's interesting, how to nurture a serious Aquarian moon. Aquarian moons are very eccentric. They keep a lot of things to themselves up here because it is a mental sign, ruled traditionally by Saturn. And ironically, the modern ruler is Uranus, which is expect the unexpected, a little chaos. But that Saturn ruler, very much like Capricorn, where it is stoic, it is serious, often not funny, not feeling, not caring, very cold. And so how can you bring some warmth and nurture your moon for the Aquarian moons would be you've got to warm things up. You have to sit by a fire. Um, you need to warm your feet, warm your bones, warm your skin, do something creative, get that mind going. Aquarian moons also are very nurtured by doing something of service with the people that are closest to them, like their friends, their very close friends. But this is a very social type of moon when there isn't emotion put into it, like personal emotion. So this is a little bit of a tough one for me, how to nurture an Aquarius moon. I would definitely say with the Saturn aspect, you need some humor and laughter. Comedy will definitely help with that. Really good deep discussions would be a good way to nurture an Aquarian moon. Possibly reading something exciting and new and delicious. But I also feel like you have to warm things up, get cozy, whether it's with fire or creativity. And that's my advice for the Aquarian moon. Your Sky Mate card is Aries and Taurus. So that's fire and earth. I think that's perfect for the serious Aquarius. So it's a whole vibe, the fire and earth. It is debating whether to go out or stay in, very Aquarian. Um, and despite the contrasts here, the passion between them is otherworldly. So that's the key word, passion for the Aquarians at this time is to find something that you are passionate about because you can be a little cold and closed off and very much in a box of your own making up here. So find something to be passionate about and go out and do that and enliven yourself. Your Aboriginal card, it is shocked and amazed. So with your ruler currently going through Taurus, there are a lot of shocking things going on with um with the Aquarians. So Aquarius, since Pluto moved into Aquarius, there have been so many shocking things in the news. Mostly airplanes are ruled by Aquarius. And at my last count, which was only a few days ago, there have been 88 plane crashes in the world. I think in the world. I hope it's not just in the United States. I can't remember what my research said, but that's pretty shocking. And so, especially Pluto, the planet of death, is now in Aquarius. Aquarius, one of the things it rules is air travel. It is shocking. We're seeing a lot of upheaval. So, are you going to be in this place of being shocked, or can you find a way to be amazed? I think taking our focus off of all the day-to-day shocking things is going to be key. So once again, turn off the TV, stop scrolling, get out into nature. Take advice from the Aries, which would be move your body, get going, and take advice from the Taurus. Indulge in the pleasure of the senses and get out into nature and enjoy that. Find something that will amaze you instead of shock you. I think this is going to be great advice for all of us, actually. We're all going to have to follow this advice. And your Archangel card, Aquarius, is the Nine of Raphael, coming to the completion of some healing cycle This is asking you to make a wish. Dreams become reality. A joyful time in life is coming for you. I feel like for Aquarius, with Pluto being in Aquarius, things transforming so quickly. So you want to look in your chart and see what house do you have Aquarius in? Because wherever that is transiting, that area of your life is changing, but may not feel like it in the moment. But in hindsight, when you look back in a few years, you'll see how that transformation will really definitely bring you some more joy and change in your life. And last but not least, we have the little fishes for Pisces. Pisces, how do you nurture a Pisces moon? Well, you don't do it by drinking or overindulging or running away from things. I will tell you that right now. So Pisces moon, all Pisces suns, risings, and moons, they will have a tendency to really go within, turn to self-suffering, martyrdom, feeling sorry for themselves. That's not how you nurture yourself. Um, Definitely the ocean and salt baths are essential for the Pisces. Lymphatic massage, keeping the feet warm and stimulated and massaged. So, get a little cream every night and rub your feet before you go to bed, get them all nice. Um, that's definitely a way to nurture the Pisces. A hot cup of tea at bedtime as you're doing your feet, that's a really nice way for the Pisces to nurture themselves. Doing things for the self and strictly for the self is the way a Pisces can nurture themselves. Um, Detoxing, drinking plenty of water. Like I said, the lymphatic massage, keeping the feet warm and massaged, and drinking really delicious hot beverages are key for nurturing a Pisces moon. Oh, and sleeping. Sleeping is really great for the Pisces. And this is a good time of year before the spring starts for Pisces to get plenty of sleep. Try, I think a really great way to nurture yourselves would be, if you're not already in a sleep routine, start to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every single day. Get yourself into that circadian rhythm, and you will feel and look so much better once you get into that habit of, even on the weekends, going to bed at a certain time and waking up at the same time every day. It gets your body into the rhythm that it needs to be in. Things can be a little hectic for the Pisces suns, risings, and moons over the next year, because Saturn and Neptune are going to be doing this dance at the end of Pisces degrees, trying to move into Aries and then coming back in. And then, like they're doing this back and forth dance. It's putting a lot of strain on both Pisces and Aries. So this is going to be a year where you're really going to have to fully nurture yourselves. Otherwise, you're going to be going into 2026 um, like a wreck, nervous wreck, or highly addicted to something. So interesting for the Pisces. You're the only ones that got the single card of Leo. That is fire. And it is about warmth and creativity and romance. But how can you romance yourselves, Pisces? This is about taking care of you and only you. Because Pisces will have a tendency to do for everybody else and then bitch about how they sacrificed for everybody else and were treated like a doormat. And then they only really have themselves to blame for that. This is about putting yourself first, Pisces when I see that Leo energy. And this is talking about getting out into the sun, allowing that luminary essence to wash over your being. It's fire, it's fixed energy, but getting fixed in taking care of yourself. And the motto here says, hello, I'm here. So this is saying, come out of the shadows, Pisces, and get yourself out into the public. Pull away from comfort of your own home and get yourself out there. Okay. Your ruling planet is traditionally Jupiter, which will be moving into Cancer. It will be exalted. It will be in a great place because it is a sister water sign. And so that will be mid-June that shift happens. So you have a couple of months there. And then your modern ruler is Neptune. That will be moving into Aries. And that is initiatory, action-based energy. So Pisces, you do have a couple months. Well, not really a couple months because March 30th, Neptune will make its first entrance into Aries. You have probably 1 month to get it together because you're going to be busy, busy, busy. So, just saying. Your Aboriginal card is accepting or disbelief. So, what's really interesting is with Neptune being in Pisces, there is a big fog over fraud and disbelief and glamour and illusions and things that we cannot believe in because there's so much lying going on. That's very much what the world's energy is in right now. But I feel like once Neptune enters Aries on March 30th, our eyes are wide open and we can finally see things for the way they are. And then we can learn to accept things as they are. For the Pisces, this is saying, do you not believe in yourself? Are you so skeptical of the entire world that you are in that disbelief? It was something that it was just like rolling around in my head. Now it's gone. But with the accepting energy that I'm picking up and feeling, it's like you need to open your eyes and start seeing yourself for the way you are and the way you are in the world, and start accepting yourself the way you are instead of escaping or telling lies about who you are and how you are and what you did and whatever. That's kind of the energy that I am picking up. Do you want people to believe in you and find you to be truthful and honest, or talk behind your back about how they can't believe in you because of the lack of honesty or the escapist techniques, the escapist mechanisms, not showing up, falsifying things. And I know this all sounds so brutal, but these are the words that are coming. So finding a place of acceptance within yourself so that you can accept the way the rest of the world is going to be essential. And your Archangel card, it is perspective, card number 12. And this is Archangel Chamuel. And it says, there's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight. Dare to be different. So what I'm picking up from this is going with that acceptance and disbelief is, how are you perceiving things in the world? How are you perceiving yourself? And ask yourself, how are other people perceiving you? This is a good time for self-reflection, Pisces. You have a little bit of time. So with Neptune moving into Aries, it'll only be there for about 6 months before it retrogrades back into Pisces. But it will move into Aries in 2026, February, where it will meet up with Saturn, and you will be put to the hard task of, being called out. There's no more of this illusion or veil over yourself. So honesty, truthfulness, open-hearted perception is going to be key, because you will not be able to BS your way through your situations. Nurture yourselves. All right, I hope you liked your card reading. I hope that it did you justice. Nurture your moons. What else? I think that's all I have for you for now. So until next time, I'll see you. Ciao.